Alright guys, Adam here, also known as AP21, and welcome to the first episode of a new series on Football Manager 2017. And with every new series that I do, you join me on the career games setup, and as you can see, the team is already done. We're going as Shrewsbury Town. I picked Shrewsbury Town because, despite not living there in my life, I was born there, so essentially I see it as my hometown, especially considering I currently live in Hereford, the place that is home to their once rivals. So I'm not very much like where I live. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like Hereford. I'm not a fan of them. So yeah, but we're going to take over Shrewsbury Town. I'm aware that they don't currently have a budget, which is like a transfer budget, which is quite bad. But there is one player that I'm looking to sign, free agents, because as you know, the free agents are pretty much gems at this level. And as you can see, I'm already in the Shrewsbury colours, blue and yellow. I'm going to suggest experience based on the division. Of course, my style focus is always going to be youth development. And we're going to save it to the cloud under the name Salop. Salop being a nickname for Shrewsbury Town. People who are born in Shrewsbury are known as Salopians. So yeah. Before we talk to the chairman, Roland Vikely, that's how I'm pronouncing it anyways, we shall take stock of the club, maybe move on some staff members, I don't know. But first, let's just look at the club. You know, it's been up and down, to be fair, especially in recent years. They got promoted to League One in 2011, stayed in one season, got relegated unfortunately. Went back up at the first try, to be fair to them, and nearly got relegated last season. They managed to stay up, but they were once in the Championship. And first off, that's my little target that I want to reach. First off is the Championship. That's the thing. Best spell in the 70s. They won what was League One at the time in 1979. And they had a few years in what is now the Championship. My college tutor, so when I was in college, one of my tutors was the defender and striker, because for some reason, you could play in, drastically different positions at the same time. But one of my tutors was the ex-striker for Shrewsbury Town in that Championship period, Gary Stevens. And I learned a lot from him, because I'm one for taking in advice, because I did ask him advice on how I can improve as a footballer, because he'd seen me play once or twice. It was a very good experience. But that's my first little sort of hurdle that I want to get to. I want to get over the fact that Shrewsbury seemed to be a yo-yo club in the past few years. I want to first establish ourselves as a League One team. Then I want to get back to the highest point we've ever been, which is the Championship, and then we'll look at the Premier League if we have time before Football Manager 18, which we should have. But I'm not sure. So we look at the general. Our captain is Adam Elabd. Abu Agogo is our vice captain. We were founded in 1886, and as you can see, our nickname is Salop, as I'd mentioned. Professional status, which is brilliant. Professional squad personality, which is great, because hopefully it means less arguments, which is great. As you can see, Hereford FC is a local rivalry, as I'd mentioned, along with Wolves as a historic rivalry, Telford, Wrexham, Walsall, and we're unfortunately predicted to get relegated this season. I'm not feeling that. I'm not up to that. But as you can see, they've had such players in the past as Grant Holt, Ryan Woods, Connor Goldson, all who have been in Championship football at one point or another. Grant Holt for Norwich, Wigan. I think he spent a season on loan at Villa. Ryan Woods is currently at Brentford. Connor Goldson is, or was at least, at Brighton. And David Edwards, I believe, was at Wolves. Sorry, he's currently at Wolves, which is fair enough. You then have Jermaine Granderson, former player, in the icons list. And of course, everyone knows this man, Joe Hart, current Torino goalkeeper on loan from Manchester City. The first I knew of Joe Hart was FIFA 2005, and he was the third choice keeper for Shrewsbury. When you go on to the career mode at the time, which was vastly different to what it is now, and nobody could tell what he was capable of at the time. He was 16 at the time, and I think it was halfway through the season he gets picked up by Man City, and as we know, the rest is history there. But he is a Shropshire lad. He is from Shrewsbury, which is brilliant. And of course, Graham Turner. Now, I can't look at his stats for one reason or another, but he was a player here, and more famously, he was a manager. He basically had a period where he managed Hereford United, which are the team that is now essentially Hereford FC. He managed Hereford United back in the 90s, I believe, but had managed Shrewsbury before that, and then kept on going from Hereford to Shrewsbury to Hereford back to Shrewsbury in the late 2000s. It was brilliant, but he's a great manager for the club, and I'm hoping I can replicate what he's been able to do. And of course, I will be using the youth team. So, our stadium, the Greenhouse Meadow, also known as the New Meadow, not when you're not looking at it, the name for sponsorship reasons, is a 9,875 all-seater stadium, which of course I'm obviously going to look to get expanded at one point or another. It was built in 2007. Before that, the stadium was the Gay Meadow. Pretty iconic stadium, I may say so myself. We own the Greenhouse Meadow, which is great. I didn't want to come in and have to deal with trying to buy the stadium and what have you. So I'm glad that's already sorted. The pitch dimensions, I'm obviously going to go maximum, because that's what I do. I like to play on the wings. I like to operate like that. Average corporate facilities, but that's nothing to do with us. Good training facilities. At the moment, I don't want to change that, but I do want to improve the youth facilities. This is a youth system that in the past few years has developed one or two good players. In Dominic Smith, centre back, he's a pretty good player, and also one of my favourite goalkeepers, because this Shrewsbury save, or because I've basically started again, Shrewsbury are my normal offline save, so I've managed them for a couple of years. I'm fully aware of what is expected of me, but we do have a few players in the under-18s here that I might look to use, or I might just bring into the first team, and all these regens will be given contracts. But there is a certain player in the under-23s that I'm a massive fan of, and that is Callum Burton, the 19-year-old goalkeeper. My first player that I ever promoted during my time on Football Manager was in 2005, and it was a guy called Ron Robert Zieler, current at the time was at Manchester United. He was a goalkeeper, and I like, I don't know what it is, but I've always, on my offline saves, I've always kept up that continuation of promoting goalkeepers first before any other player. I like Football Manager 14, I used to promote Dominic Smith second after Callum Burton, but obviously Dominic Smith now has a pro contract, Callum Burton doesn't. But I mean, if we look at our overall squad, we've got former Blackburn keeper Mark Holstead in goal, Jason Lutweiler, who a couple of seasons ago, at the point of February, I think it was the 13-14 season, at February, he was the most successful goalkeeper. This is a goalkeeper that was at the time in League One, and still is, but, we've been a yo-yo club since then. But he was a goalkeeper who was, stat-wise, one of the best in Europe at the time in terms of clean sheet, and that was a goalkeeper from League One. So if I can help it, he's not being sold. Mark Holstead, however, even though he's younger, I think it would be better off to sell him and bring in Callum Burton, personally. Maybe we bring in Callum Burton as a third choice. Yeah, we'll do that. And then promote him to second choice next season. But we've quite a few people in on loan. Ryan Yates here, on loan from Nottingham Forest. Seems to be a pretty good centre mid, but we could also use him at right back. You have Jack Grimmer on loan from Fulham, currently one of the best players at the club, which is not looking good. With those stats, he should be playing for Fulham. And he has been. 17 games over 5 years. Probably should have played more, to be fair. And then our other loanees are on the other end of the spectrum as strikers. We have Tyler Roberts on loan from West Brom. I'm fully, up to date with this man. I know what he's capable of. He's a tough player to deal with. In the past, because I used to want to loan people in, and he was a regular that I'd loan in, especially last year. Last year, I had several offline saves, 2 with Shrewsbury, 1 with Gutterslow, and I'd always sign Tyler Roberts because he was on the list. We then have Stephen Humphreys, 18-year-old, also on loan from Fulham, following Jack Grimmer. Again, pretty good. Not as good as Tyler Roberts, though, so he'll probably be third choice. We have Freddie Ladapo, on loan from Crystal Palace, 23-year-old Nigerian. If we can get one of these on a permanent contract, then that would be great. But at the moment, we're not looking for anything. And then we have the 24-year-old Stephen Payne, on loan from Barnsley, one of the best strikers at the club, if you take Tyler Roberts out of the equation. But we do have 2 injuries at the moment, and that is Stephen Payne with a broken foot, 4 to 5 months, so he's not going to be playing, and Junior Brown, a damaged cruciate ligament between 6 weeks and 3 months. This is things to look into. But overall, it's a strong squad. I'm looking at certain people like Aristote Nizala, the former Everton youngster. I'm looking at people like him to be a shining light in the team and to sort of stand out, Maybe that's just because of where he came from, but I want to do well. But we're going to do the obligatory welcome to the club meeting. Now, I know quite a bit about Shrewsbury's background, as I've managed the club before, but it's always nice to know a bit more. So yeah, I'm not taking control of the friendlies, to be fair. Not what I do. And of course, as always, opposition instructions. But, I normally do all that myself eventually. We're going to look at what we can do first. I'm going to add a sports scientist, definitely. I might get rid of the current staff, but it's not. It's not. I might do it, might not. Let's see who we have to begin with. So we have our ex goalkeeper, Danny Coyne, formerly of Middlesbrough. He was signed as a goalkeeper and a player. Never played for us though. Was more of a third choice. We have Andy Jones, who's been head of youth development since I come in, and Chris Doig as the assistant manager. He's had some previous experience in Grimsby, which is good. But I think I'm going to look at alternatives anyways. Maybe that's just me, But yeah, we'll see what we have available, and then by the time the first episode comes around, I can take you through like who I've signed, what's gone on. Talking about who I signed, I need to take you through the transfer situation. See, we've not got that many choices. Personally, I'd like to get Bernard Morley. They've put him down as the assistant manager, but he's actually the co-manager of Salford. So yeah, there's not that many choices. Training will be sorted by my assistant manager because I don't know the first thing about sorting out all this. I suppose I'm going to have to learn, considering I want to be a coach in real life. First off, we're going to work out a tactic, and I'm going to go 4-3-3 this for this save. I always do different formations, but I always do different formations given different teams. But this time it's going to be a 4-3-3. We're going to do normal, and to be fair, this will probably stay the same instruction wise for probably the whole season, unless things change. And if things change, of course, you will see it. I'll take you through any changes. Now, this is how I pick my Shrewsbury team. Jason Lutweiler, obviously, you're mental if you don't play him. Jack Grimmer, best defender we have currently. Our captain, I'm going to choose Dominic Smith, even though McGivern is better currently. And Matt Sadler at left back. Bryn Morris as the first centre mid. Abu Agogo as the second centre mid. And Ryan Yates as the third centre mid. This is shaping up to be a pretty good team, and then we'll have Leach Smith, Tyler Roberts in the middle, and I believe that was Humphreys. Yes, it was Humphrey. And then what I normally do is pick without restriction, roles and duties, and pick using guidelines, normally unpicked positions. So there we go, unpicked positions. That's our team for the first couple of friendlies at least. Looks like a pretty solid team. We will look at the team report though, specifically our weaknesses. Better depth is required in the centre mid position. I think it's more required in defensive mid. Alex Rodman doesn't represent ideal positional strength for a right midfielder. Well, that's something we can work on. There's not a great deal of quality depth outside the first team amongst players currently at the club. It's true. The youth facilities aren't what they used to be. Decision making is bad, strength is bad, we're not the best physical club. Jesus, there's a lot to do. We're lacking a leader, room for improvement on the coaching staff, room for improvement on the scouting staff. There is a lot to do. But now we go to the scouting situation, and as it stands, right, we have 20k transfer budget and 2.1k wage budget available. Now, of course, it's got youth players for us that we can sign. I don't ideally want to focus on youth players this season. I don't ideally want to focus on youth players that I can sign this season. On loan, I mean. If we can get one permanent signing, great. That would be amazing. But one signing is probably all I'm going to make. I mean, you got players here, Emerson Boyce. Can he still cut it? Well, we'd have to scout him. But, I mean, you've got Stephen Craney, Lee Cook, people who I'm fully aware of. Lee Cook, formerly of Fulham, I believe. Yes, he was formerly of Fulham, the 33-year-old. And then you've got your your lower league style players. Dwight Tiendali, formerly of Fulham. He could be a pretty good player to bring in. If no lack of financial resources, that's fair, I suppose. Barry Richardson, the man who just won't retire, 46-year-old coach and Wickham goalkeeper. Mental. He is absolutely mental. Paddy Kenny. You know what, even just for one season, that would be a great signing. Liam Lawrence, who has formerly played for Shrewsbury, 52 games, 5 goals in 2 seasons. Could we possibly re-sign him? They're saying we can. So, even just for one season, that would be a pretty decent signing to bring in. And of course, we're also bringing in Callum Burton. We've got Sean Rowley there. If we're looking at others we want to sign, let's see if there's anyone else who is worth a pick at the moment. Kleiman Anderson's someone else who I've also, brought up to the first team now and then. Chris Gallagher looks like something, so he'll come up. Oh, I'm just going backwards. Callum Grogan is one to look out for me. Ethan Jones as well. Ethan Jones has been a nightmare for me in previous saves. He keeps on going up and down from his potential. His current ability used to fluctuate as well, and it's like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, it used to go down, and I'm like, why? You got Tyrone Afori in the under-18s. All these players are going to be quite low rated, but then you do have Cameron Gregory, a goalkeeper, and what Shrewsbury are quite known for in the past few seasons are the goalkeepers. I mean, you've got Callum Burton, Sean Rowley, Joe Hart, all great goalkeepers. This 16-year-old Ryan Barnett could be something to look at soon. But, we'll get through these friendlies, and then we'll start the League One campaign at home to MK Dons, which is going to be difficult as hell. As the team news stands, we have Stephen Payne out with a broken foot. They have Chuck Zaneke, the former Arsenal youth player, out with torn knee ligaments, and Stuart O'Keefe out with a broken arm. And then something I was talking about to Just Mike Plays and GWFM, because they're both Leeds fans and GWFM actually runs a Leeds save. I don't want to meet Leeds again because they ended my time on a previous save quite badly, and it looks like we're meeting them in the first 2 games that we have to play, like, competitively. Why? Jesus. But yeah, I hope you're looking forward to this save as much as I am. I'm hoping I can take Shrewsbury far. I'm also hoping this will be my save up until Football Manager 18, and let's see what heights we can reach with this team. But until then, I've been Adam, also known as AP21, and hopefully see you next time.